We are back here on Girl Talk. Ron Kirby is joining us. As you can see, our third gentleman on Girl Talk today, and we are very proud. We're talking about leadership, and I think it's pretty appropriate to talk about that with, you've got some pretty
We're
strong...
not leaders. No way.
Look
No
over
way.
here. We've got some pretty strong and capable leaders in this room alone. So interested to talk with you a little bit, Ron, about what you do and how you work within our Lowcountry community.
What I do is take people, it can be an individual, it can be a company, it can be a corporation, and do evaluations of them about where are they at with leadership training. As an example, a lot of companies are very strong technically, but when it comes to the human element of understanding the different personalities of people, the different lifestyles, the different ways to be taught and led, there's an opportunity there.
To bring out better skills in the company as far as...
Yes, so...
Do you talk about company culture at all? Do you do...
That's a wonderful word you just said right there.
Yeah.
Roy Austin and I were just talking 2 hours ago, and he said, Ron, what's the big thing that you really have to give a company to differentiate them from someone else? And that was the exact word I said, culture.
But how can a company, I don't even understand how a company can exist without defining their culture from the beginning.
Oh, I would think that there are companies out there. I worked with some companies I've seen that have been...
Me too.
Culture, I mean, they just all over the board. They don't have
Are they
that.
still in business?
Well, I think the culture for a lot... Look at these. Ron's like,
would you like to talk?
I probably have the answer. Okay, go ahead.
Well, you know, the culture has to come from the top down, from the highest level management, and it has to be taught every day. It's not something you just do on occasion. It is a part of your everyday life. Employees, managers, supervisors, leaders, every one of them have to understand and buy into it.
Modeling good behavior.
Absolutely.
It can be part of your mission, too.
Oh, of course it is.
Mission structure statement.
So if you say it has to be a part and taught daily, what are some of the ways that the leaders can project the company culture on a daily basis?
Well, one that's just very simple to see is you walk into an organization and you notice people are kind of reserved, they're nervous, you don't see a fun atmosphere there. And that's very obvious.
Their
that's
desks are clear
from,
and there's no personality in there.
or let the boss walk in and see everybody scatter.
Yeah.
I mean, that tells you right there.
Yeah.
Now, if the boss walks in and there's smiles and happiness, and hey, how are you doing today?
Right.
That obviously has a pretty strong leadership culture going there.
Let me ask you a question about authenticity. Everybody is different. Everybody has different personality styles. So there's not necessarily culturally bad or good leadership styles. It's just a matter of...
Though there's two basic leadership styles, authoritarian and disciplinarian.
Correct.
And you take they both work. The key is you have to understand your people individually. The way I may talk to you wouldn't work with you and wouldn't work with you, but if I'm smart and I understand all of your personalities, I understand which style of leadership to use to get maximum performance out of
So
you.
I guess you're a big proponent of
right there.
understanding. Do you recommend that companies give the personality tests that are out there so that the leaders
do you do a
can
Myers-Briggs,
understand?
Do DISC,
Okay.
which is a form of Myers-Briggs. I'm a big proponent in counseling. Now, some people take counseling as being a cuss word. It's not. Counseling is when you sit down and spend time with an individual and talk to them about, okay, here's some opportunities I think you have. Here's some goals for you, and here's where I think you're doing great.
Right.
You always
Instead of
send them out.
Like, because I feel like a lot of people do that, but it tends to be a yearly assessment when they're going through their
I love to
reviews.
do.
It should be monthly.
See, we've got leaders
and
here.
I love working with people and trying to figure out what really makes them do the best work they can possibly do.
Sure.
And then capitalize
And how
on
you
trying
can
to foster
support them so
But
that they're supporting you.
Because we all have strengths and weaknesses, and if I tell you how your strengths and just share with you some areas that you may need to work on, I mean, isn't that what we're doing? Isn't that the point of everything?
I have a question for you. What if you go in, you assess a company, and you're like, okay, from the top down, it's like, you know, you need to do some changes. How do you get them not to resist that change?
Right. How do you get the
How
top to buy in?
Yeah.
It's a great
Because
question.
usually they're the ones going, whatever.
That is a great question, and the first thing you have to do is you have to get to top level management, leadership, whatever you want to call it, and say, okay, I'm going to come in, I'll do an evaluation for you. When I get done, I'm going to be very honest with you, but I'm going to tell you the truth. About 60% of the time, it's the leadership. They're not doing a very good job, and so it rolls downhill. So what I explain to them is I will give you what I feel is a way to cure this.
Okay.
It's going to take time, but it has to happen from
hurt a
top to
little.
bottom and
you have
bottom to
to
top.
embrace
Let me
and
ask you a question.
execute it.
We have a leader who tends to be a micromanager,
Yes.
or we have a leader who one day is wonderful and the next day is
Inconsistent.
very inconsistent. And unpredictable.
Yes.
So are those some things that you see that you
Absolutely.
would talk about?
That's very difficult for employees due to the fact
What
it is what's going on in your personal life typically. So all of a
Okay.
sudden you've gotten an argument with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, well, you bring it to work. Well, the thing you want to teach your people, your culture is when you are through the doors, it's time to be all smiles and work.
Yes,
You're
it
here
is.
today
Yes,
to
it
take
is.
care of our customers
right.
and for us to help you to grow in this business.
I've always been
Again,
like
a
100%.
personality. Someone is
Sorry.
more
Right.
inconsistent or unpredictable. How do you share with that person how to maybe shift that behavior?
Well, the key thing you do is you explain it to them because
Okay.
a lot of them don't realize it. They're sitting there,
Really?
I'm not doing that.
Really?
And I say, and how do you find that out?
you
As an
videotape
example,
'em?
I went to a particular company and I interviewed, and I spent an hour and a half with 27 different employees. And each one, I got through, what's kind of the bull and what was the real meat and potatoes
I like
of
that,
it.
the bologna
And
and
when I got it all together, that exactly told me what the leader was doing wrong. Now, here's the great thing. The leader wanted to know what he was doing wrong.
So
And
he embraced it
He
and
embraced
was
it.
able to come back out of it and be great.
I
How,
said
how do
him,
you know, like, how do you know without just, you just sit in the company for a week or so? Because if you want to observe behaviors,
there's
you can't
no
really
possible
you-
way.
you
It
just have
doesn't
to-
take a week. It
Really?
typically, to be honest with you can take 2 days.
Are
I
you
believe
serious?
that. No, I believe
Yes.
that.
And you watch people come in and you watch the boss come in. and-
There's 4 indicators I look for.
Okay.
Morale,
Morale.
proficiency, discipline, and teamwork.
Do you talk to the
But
individuals?
you can find
Yes.
out from in 2 days where the breakdowns are.
Absolutely.
Oh, I would agree with
And you can
that.
change the
Sometimes quicker
productivity
than
of
that.
the company?
Yes.
Wow, that's so cool.
I
Mary, we
can't-
don't
I
need
know.
that. I'm
This is
fine.
interesting.
I know. Would you come back and talk a little bit more?
He's going to say, if you let me talk.
Well, then never mind.
To be honest with you, I'd love to come back and talk to you a little more about women in leadership roles.
And I think
I like
that makes
that.
a lot of sense. Again, we're here on Girl Talk. We're getting ready to say goodbye, but thank you very much, and thank you all for joining us here. Have a great day.